Do this.
America is sexy. She's tall and thin and sexy. America is sexy. She lets her dress down slowly. And she goes, la 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 la. La 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 la.
Okay, hello everyone. It's Thursday. It's the end of the week for the Fakeologist show. Thursday, November the 6th, 2025. We're here with our regular co-host on Thursdays now. Frank is also a co-host. Okay, he's going to come on in 15 minutes. And so we're here with our regular co-host now, our alternating co-host, but maybe every week, who knows? We're just sort of winging it. Kirby Sexford Lady from somewhere in America. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, so Frank's going to come on. He's just out of pocket.
He just messaged me in the Discord, shortfake.com/Discord. So that he'll be on, and we'll just have a chin wag for an hour, and we'll take your calls, and we'll go any direction you want. It's sort of open lines Thursdays. We do have regular callers, but it'd be good to get a fresh caller as well. That was Paul Hyde of Rockin' Hyde, a Canadian, and that song is called America is Sexy, surprisingly enough. We do like good music. We like good intro songs, outro songs, or stuff I like anyway. And
didn't he say America is thin and sexy, or sexy and thin?
I didn't hear that part. Wow, I see my comment on that. There's only 4 comments on this whole video. I'll show you here. That's kind of funny. Only 4 whole comments, and mine was one from a year ago. Hello. I guess nobody gives a crap about these guys. This is the Payolas. I just put down amazing talent and band Payolas. That was 1 year ago. And the other comments were 14 years ago. And this has only got 76,000 views. Anyway, there you go. 1989. I'm sure most Americans have never heard of Rockin' Hyde, but we promoted Canadian music here. That was part of our nationalist requirement to, if you wanted to get a broadcast license on the radio, you had to play 33.3% Canadian content. I don't know if it was 33. It was probably close, though, or more.
Well, I've never heard of them, but I enjoyed that song.
Oh, it's awesome. Rockin' Hyde. Greg is in the chat. He'll know. Greg's a fellow Canadian. You type in
the album Turtle Island, 1989. That's what it says there, right?
Yeah, here they are here, Rockin' Hyde. They had some really good songs. Canadian rockers. Oops, what happened to my screen? Get back here. Get back here. So if you guys want any old Canadian music, here you go. Okay, it doesn't. Is some kind of bug with this stupid restream. The only problem is I only encounter the bugs when I'm doing the show, and I don't report them. And by the time the show's over, I forget. But here are some of their songs: "Dirty Water," "I Will," "Where Is This Love," "Eyes of a Stranger," "You're the Only Love," "Here's the World." Really good stuff. "Talk to Me," "I Will." I already said that. Let's just ask the bot if they did any business in the United States. I think they probably didn't get in there. It's very hard to break into the United States music scene. It's very closed, protectionist. Did Rock and Hyde make any sales in the USA? So we'll ask that, and we'll see what it says. You've never heard of them, of course, you said. But we'll ask the bot. What does the bot have to say? It says they did. A short-lived Canadian pop rock band. They only released one album. Under the Volcano. Let's see here.
Short-lived. Okay.
They were ranked 1,554 in best albums of 1987. Well, that's not too good. Huh. There you go. So they didn't make it. They didn't make it in the US at all, according to this very lousy write-up by the Grok bot.
So
Suzette
where'd you hear
and
them from, Ad? From the radio back then, or no?
yeah, well, the problem is when you're mandated to create or produce Canadian content, you do have to search far and wide sometimes. This is a small country, only 40 million people, the size of California. So I think some guys didn't deserve to be on the radio, and these guys did, but you had to scrape the bit of the bottom of the barrel. But there is a lot of stuff. Like I said, it's really hard to get an American contract. Now with the internet, everything is blown apart, which is great for Canadians because Canadians, I think, punch above their weight. But yeah, this one never made it. They never made it. They never. If you didn't get a contract, you just didn't get played. Period. And the people on the radio, the program managers, they were real gatekeepers. And there were some scandals, if you call them scandals, called pay for play, where you paid the disc jockeys or the program director money so they play your music. And it's just like YouTube. If you don't get exposure from the system, you don't exist. Fakeologist doesn't exist on YouTube or on the internet, even though we're here.
Yeah.
We are here, but we may as well not be here because we play to a super niche audience. We only have 25 people today watching on YouTube and D Live. We probably have some people here on X. Let's see. Here's X. We have 4 people on X. That's nothing. Here's FAKOTube. We have 5 people on FAKOTube, the platform that just cannot get off the ground. So we're super niche. Now that might mean we're just not interesting, or nobody knows we're here, except the people that accidentally found us, randomly found us. And how hard is it to find? Well, it's because not enough people read the comments of different websites. Now, I got a website suggestion today from my feed, and I forgot about it. And here it is here. This guy is Anthony Hall, and he speaks of the Holocaust, so he's been fired and shunned. And he has a Substack because everyone's on Substack now. They're too lazy to make their own blog. I understand that. And what is my point? My point is I left a comment here, and I put a link to FAKOTube. And let's see if anyone replies or sees it or responds to it. I said, I'm from Toronto. Would you like to do an interview? Because he mentioned Simon Shack in this article here, 9/11, the merger of Hollywood and the news. And how did I find this? Well, I subscribe to this feed as I do to 1,000 feeds or 2,000 feeds. Now, I don't really read my feed reader too often. I'm just too lazy to go through it. But this was referred to me by Google keywords because in this article, I have keywords for Simon Shack. So whenever Simon Shack is mentioned on the internet, I get an email, and this guy mentioned Simon in the same sentence as Ace Baker and Richard Hall, which I'm sure he'll be very insulted by. And I started reading this article. I just breezed through it, to be honest with you.
Well, I did enjoy the plethora of pictures of Tim Osmond up at the top there.
On this one?
Oh, yeah.
Wait. Oh, that Tim Osmond.
That
Yeah,
Tim
good
Osmond,
point.
yeah. AKA Osama bin Laden, right.
All right, we got a winner here. This is going to be an hour long audio. I may not play the whole thing, but it's Lawrence Guineau. I've heard the name before. Fringe conspiracy theorist, no planer.
By the way, I've never heard of this guy or Laurent Guineau. I think he said his name wrong. It's Guineau, if I had to guess with my lousy French. So these are two people I've never heard of. It says Adam Fitzgerald, a Zionist troll condemning. Okay, so this is Adam Fitzgerald, a Zionist troll. I think he meant to write troll. So we'll just go to the YouTube. So this is how I find stuff. I don't know how you find stuff, but this is how I find stuff. Comments. I always read the comments because this is where the good stuff is. Till says you should have on Spartan Red. Great guest. He'll prove to you that mountains are melted buildings. I don't really, honestly, it's not really my thing. Not really into melted buildings or melted mountains. Are you CSL?
I'm familiar with the concept. I'm curious, though, like you made a point a minute ago, how fakeologist is sort of, nothing on the internet in so many words. How do you think people sort of stumble upon fakeologists? What's your speculation on that?
Well, there's no one recurring theme that I can think of right now. It's very random. I do ask people all the time. I should write it down, but honestly, I can't think of even 5 top ways. Maybe YouTube's, maybe BitChutes. Anyway, I want to look at this now. Laurent Guineau, the man who believes everything's fake. So this is a guy, Adam Fitzgerald, who's doing a video about this guy, and he's playing. Is this One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
Yeah, that is
Or
definitely a scene from that.
With Jack being
One.
batshit
Yeah.
crazy. So this is Laurent Guineau, a self-proclaimed 9/11 researcher, came on the Bonnie Faulkner Guns and Butter program. Wait, let's say hi to Frank. Frank the Salt Guy, hello.
Ni hao.
Welcome to the show with Fakeologist and CSL.
Hello, CSL.
Hello,
How
Frank.
how are the curves?
Oh, well and sexy.
Actually, that's probably why I played that song at the beginning. I just subconsciously played that. Did you make that connection?
No, not until you mentioned it. The skinny American.
Oh, you're skinny?
Sexy, skinny American, or whatever it was saying.
Frank, I played this at the beginning. I think I've played it for Frank before. Lord Dorkington found us via IPS. Well, yeah, he has a big audience. Yeah, anyway, that's
it's so happy,
isn't it? But I'll just play it on the main screen here so you can see it. Because
it reminds me of the theme to the Banana Splits.
I think this will be the theme song when CSL's on. What do you guys think?
It's a bit different to the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah, well, come on. We can't pray every day. Well, I know you do.
Multiple times.
Frank, have you heard of this guy, Adam Fitzgerald or Gerald Fitz Adam,
No.
or Laurent
Patrick
Guinaud?
Fitzmichael and Michael Fitzpatrick.
Yeah, have you heard of them? Have you heard of this guy, Anthony James Hall?
No.
Have you heard of him? He was on Fetzer quite a few times. He's a very good speaker. He's allegedly a professor of something or other in Alberta who was fired for talking about the Holocaust,
All right.
including he was tenured, but they didn't care.
I'm starting to be. I'm a bit like you, Tim. I'm doubting all of these stories now. Do people actually get fired?
I don't know. So anyway, this guy, Anthony James, I forgot his name already. Anthony James Hall put an article on 9/11, the merger of Hollywood and the news. I didn't really read it all the way, but I just breezed through it because Simon's name came up, and so he's got all kinds of interesting things, including this video. Laurent Guinaud's 9/11 and Israel's great game. So he thinks Israel does everything. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, Greg says he's heard of him because he was on Giuseppe Vaffanculo's podcast, and he's the Jews do everything guy. Always the Jews. There's no one else in the world that does anything. It's all Jews, Frank, and CSL. They're the only ones that do anything. I just can't get over that mentality because it makes zero sense. Does it make
The
sense to you
cabal
guys?
that controls the world, right?
Yeah, does it make sense that this a very tiny group does everything and 98% of the
we
world
need
just stands down?
We need a scapegoat. That's what their whole religion is about.
Yeah, that's true. Well, they're also the scapegoat for media fakery and everything. Anyway, so he's referring to this guy. So I thought, well, this is new. So why don't we just look at this a bit and see what he says? Because is this guy blackwashing contra culture? KK. Presente. Is this guy blackwashing Simon Shack?
Cue the dramatic music.
I do like music. There's the falling man. There's the falling plane.
History will remember that the 21st century truly began on September 11th, 2001. The world that we have lived in during the last 20 years has been largely shaped by the attacks that took place that day on American soil.
Well, technically, they weren't in the soil; they were in the air, weren't they?
That's true, but the buildings were in the soil, Frank. Come on. I know you're a hair splitter.
Technically.
I'm just reading some of the comments here. One guy, oh, I see. G Xavier. Oh, I see. Well, I guess this is the guy that posted it. Wait. This is somebody else. G Xavier 1901. He's left all the comments. Well, I think this might be worth a look-see. I'll put it in the show notes. I'll put the article, 9/11, the merger of Hollywood and the news. I'll put that in the show notes. You guys can examine it for yourself. Shall we play a little more? You guys are so quiet.
Global geopolitics in particular have been profoundly and permanently impacted by these events.
Every nation in every region now has a decision to make. Either you are with us where you
you're
were
with
with the
Emperor.
terrorists.
Oh, the terrorists. Right,
Mhm. Terrorists.
Yet,
We must
the
go to
events of
Afghanistan
9/11 remained
make some
mysterious
poppy
and
fields.
controversial. According to
Oh,
the
yeah.
official government and media narrative, 4 airliners were hijacked by 19 cutter-wielding terrorists. They were members of the jihadist network known as Al-Qaeda, led from Afghanistan by Saudi national Osama bin Laden. One
Dead
of the
or
planes
alive.
is said to have crashed into the Pentagon near Washington, D.C. 2 others are said to have penetrated and exploded inside the Twin Towers of New York's World Trade Center, causing them to collapse vertically at near freefall speed.
I love how the Pentagon version is just CGI rather than the 4 frames from that
The
gas
4th
station
plane
surveillance
is
camera.
believed to escape the terrorist control through the
Yeah,
heroic
the Pentagon
intervention of
sucks.
its passengers and crashed in a field near Shanksville, Pennsylvania.
Now, could I ask
Far
a
as I
question of you two?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, go.
What is the accepted story about how we got from the people with box cutters to attacking Saddam Hussein?
Well, it just so happened he had weapons of mass destruction in and around the time. So we're going for terrorism. So that was such a wide umbrella. It just captured Saddam in its
But wasn't
Is
the
there an
passports
actual?
of the people that were seen or whatever, the
Oh, that was
passports that were
Saudi.
bulletproof? They were Saudi, right? Why did we
Yeah.
go to Iraq?
Because I've never caught up with what the connection was.
Well, we can ask the bot. You want to ask
Yeah.
the bot?
That's a great idea.
It's not very smart. What's the question?
Well,
Why did we
why,
attack
what did
Iraq?
Saddam Hussein have to do with the price of fish?
After 9/11? So obviously other people asked that question. Why did America
That was my first default too. Was weapons of mass destruction. That was the narrative, but I'm kind of gapping at the moment. What was the connection with 9/11?
Official justifications for the U.S. invasion of Iraq? The United States, under President George Shrub Bush, launched the invasion of Iraq on March 2003, as part of Operation Iraqi Freedom. This action came nearly 18. 18 is Chi in Kabbalah, I guess. They love that number. After the 18 months after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attack, 9/11, which killed nearly 3,000 people and were carried out by Al-Qaeda. While Iraq was not directly involved in 9/11, the Bush administration framed the war as a key component of the broader global war on terror. So that's it. So because they cast this large net called the global war on terror, then that's how it got caught up in it.
And ask AI if it's legal, if the war was legal.
Well, they didn't. It wasn't. It was not. They did not declare war.
Well,
Okay.
the reason I'm just saying this is simply because that last fellow said how it all reshaped politics, etc. But clearly, whatever the administration was at the time was going to do whatever they wanted to Iraq.
No, it was
regardless.
not legal under international law, according to legal scholars.
And
Well,
so
they
I'm
did approach
reminded.
UN, right? They approached,
I'm re-
or George Bush, what did you call him? Shrub Bush, right? I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Frank, go ahead.
No, it's just I just remind people listening
Yeah.
that U.S. soldiers, or in fact the soldiers from Australia, and anyone that went to Iraq at the time, was committing a war crime, as described in Nuremberg. Remember all those soldiers that obeyed orders were hung because they shouldn't have obeyed orders that were illegal. And it is a fact that the soldiers of the day had to sign disclaimers before they went to Iraq and Iran, to my understanding. And the point I'm simply making here is, once again, people have been fooled into doing cruel and immoral things.
Yes, well. So there's your grok answer. Should we play a little more of this video?
Well,
apparently we lost Till. Till thinks we should be talking about Charlie Kirk still. Okay, well, you know what the problem with the Fakeologist show is? I don't talk enough about 9/11 because that's why the show started in 2012. And I've definitely fallen away from that. So whenever someone brings up 9/11 and there's something I haven't looked into or heard, I'm going to play it.
It's the linchpin. It's the linchpin of Fakeology, right?
Yeah.
That was a very religious way of saying it, though. I've fallen away.
I have fallen away. Okay, we got a caller in.
Hold time 3 minutes 42 seconds.
Oh, that caller inner's been hanging in. Caller in, where are you calling from? What's your name?
Hey, Fakeologist. It's Jay from Texas.
Jay from Texas show starts now.
Deep in the heart of Texas.
Hello, Jay.
Hey, no, I was just
Jay,
saying, talking about.
Is 9/11 worth
More
talking
important
about still, or should we talk about Charlie Kirk? What do you want to talk about?
Well, they're kind of both in the same vein, but people what they don't talk about 9/11 is like the year after 2002, the anthrax attack, and
Well, that was boring.
yeah, but those were the justification because Netanyahu went to go speak to Congress in that during that year.
Yeah, Jay, you're making a lot of noise on the line.
Sorry about that.
And
There's
tell
a lot
that
of stuff
dog
going
to shut up.
on. Yeah, it was a neighbor's dog.
Okay, tell the neighbor to shut up. The dog.
No, but like I was saying, yeah, after 2002, he went to Congress and gave like almost 2 hours of a testimony about his experience with terrorism.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of our people got the information from. They tied Saddam to selling the anthrax to like they tied Saddam selling the anthrax to Al Qaeda in a meeting that they had in Prague. And our CIA got that information from Israel's CIA, and they were, and it's not like they do it all and everything, but the information, because I think like Dick Cheney just died like 2 days ago, and they tried to say that he was the main mastermind, but everybody forgets 2002, and Netanyahu was in on Congress talking to them, and it's really crazy because before he was talking, a lot of Congress people were like, I don't care what you have to say. I agree with you before you even start. Like you're very. It was very surreal to see that.
But in fairness, is Netanyahu an Israeli or an American? I thought he grew up entirely American. He speaks like an American. He behaves like.
Yeah, he grew up.
What is the connection between Netanyahu and Israel other than the fact that they plonked him in as prime minister and that
he's a Polish guy.
Yeah, it's very interesting, you know. And then with the Charlie Kirk thing, that's another 9/11 in tie, because you know how they tried to use just talking about him, like you know how they did it with 9/11, how they trying to shut down the conversation with anybody who was questioning it, and you saw a little boost up more when the Charlie Kirk event happened, when they actually did fire people and they actually were going after it, but then they had to tamp it down because it wasn't people were kind of like, hey, wait, that's kind of weird. You can't, you know. And I think now they're going for something bigger because, like if you hear Nancy Pelosi is not going for re-election, and that's very critical because what the story is behind her background is too, she's an old mob daughter. So if that story is true about her past, and definitely she probably has insider information of what's going on, and there's probably going to be another attack, because there was I don't know if you remember a movie out in 2013 or like a preview of a movie. It was a concept called the Gray State. And there was a depiction in there of these drones being used, and they were gonna fly and attach to people, and like there was like these mini drones, and they had like a little like 45 caliber one bullet in there, and it just would land on your head, and then like
There's some film where the president gets almost assassinated by a drone swarm, isn't there?
Yeah, there was another video like that, and these were all back in like 2012, 2013, when the whole Jade Elm event was going on, and when they were starting to get into the drone technology. Very like predictive programming, but it's very interesting.
And Jay, another question I've got for you is: Al Qaeda or the Taliban, weren't they allies of the USA in fighting the Russians in Afghanistan?
Yeah, they were formed out of like the Pakistani people, if I'm not mistaken. And
so was it the Taliban or the Al Qaeda that was the people that were on the side of the US fighting the Russians and armed by the Russians?
I think it wasn't Al Qaeda, was their special forces of the Taliban, and then the U.S. infiltrated that group, right, and sold weapons to them. Osama's name was like Usama. It started with the U first, like USAOMA. Now, and then after 9/11, they changed it to an O. To because remember when all the fake videos and fake saying this is Osama bin Laden talking, and it just showed him in a cave by a gun, and they deemed it to be that was all debunked like really like overnight when it was coming out, but you really didn't hear it on the news. You didn't hear it on the news because the internet wasn't as the way it is now. How like anybody could just, the software is free. You know what I mean? The software to live stream, the software to upload, all that is free now.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, now, Jay, before we move on?
Shoot, that's about it. But yeah, look at that into that whole Nancy Pelosi. And
I don't care.
Talking about 9/11. No, but what I'm saying is like the events that are going on, it's ramping up and it's getting more and more to like the same 9/11 storyline. Like something crazy happens and they're gonna push something even more crazier to control it. You know what I mean? Like something crazy happens, they put in the Patriot Act, and then it takes away things that never used to be, you know?
Okay, so you're predicting like some bad stuff coming up.
Well, yeah, like bad stuff in the sense of actually like what did Salt say? There was a movie with the president, like more of that, more of like actually going after like the leadership and everything, just to get us more to not talk about it because they're gonna say that we're inciting. That's what I think. That's what I think it's going. Just because you see the way the Charlie Kirk thing happened, you know, how anybody, you know what I mean? Like they were trying to say you were violent just for, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Like
hate
they were
speech.
trying to say people, yeah. That's how they're gonna label it. But it's anything that they don't like will be considered that. Yeah. But thank you.
That's what all government wants. Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for being.
Thank you.
Coming on. Thank you, sir. Here goes Jay. Jay is a good caller, likes to call in. Everyone likes Jay. You like Jay, Frank?
I love him.
He's a good man.
Oh yeah, he's good people. Good people.
He's good people from Corpus Christi there in Texas.
So again, what is? How do I need to ask you, Kirby? What is the American mindset regarding to the idea that they created all of these terrorist groups and then decided they were enemies? How does that sit with the average?
You mean as an American? I mean,
yeah. What goes on?
I mean, I can remember the way that it was presented. I remember watching George Shrub Bush, as fakeologist calls him.
Yeah,
you know, doing his speech online or not online, on TV, on live TV. You know, stirring up the American public, saying that we have to invade, etc. And there was a part of me at the time, you know, a year or so after 9/11, that I was kind of on board. And
You just want to
the
invade
logic of it, right? The logic of it didn't necessarily faze me. So if I were to kind of think back about what you're kind of asking, the me today would have had a different question about it, or a different opposition to it, or a different skepticism of it that I didn't have back then. And I think that's kind of what's happening on everyday people today, right? That's kind of what I would say about it.
Are people aware that the US government set these
in general, I would think no. In general, I would think no. I even have, military friends today that are acquaintances as coworkers that went over to Afghanistan and Iraq during those operations, and they're not even aware as to what they were there for. The only thing that they can tell me is that, they were there because of 9/11, but they don't even know why. They don't know what they were doing. And they were doing everything from cleaning toilets to making food to going in on the front lines. So one of my closest coworkers was damaged by one of those IEDs on some run they were doing in Iraq during that first invasion. Not Desert Storm. That was
I wonder
later
who
than that.
put it there.
Right, exactly. And I've kind of tried to poke at those people in my real life. At the same time, make no mistake, right? Just to be totally honest, completely brutally honest, right? I don't feel like I'm in a place that I can really challenge these people that I work with and that supposedly experienced even injuries in these scenarios. I would love to. I'd love to maybe have a beer with this guy, kind of thing, and get kind of let his hair down. But that's not the way it normally goes with everyday people. Back to your question, right? Everyday people, they thought they were fighting for something worthwhile.
And
that's kind of the general consensus that I have, even from the people that I've known personally that have been there, done that.
Yeah. So that was really my question: is how do people feel about it right now? They're not angry that they were fooled. They're not aware that they were fooled. They're not. The
fact that they might have been fooled is not even part of their processing.
And they're not concerned about the idea that they were fighting enemies that were created by the government in the first place. Is that part of the way people process things at all?
No, not the general everyday public. And I can say from the personal experience that I've had with people that personally went over there that I just referenced, that's not even part of their thinking.
So am I wrong?
It disturbs me. It disturbs me.
Am I wrong in thinking it's common knowledge that these things took place?
Perhaps. I think that the idea that is the case is kind of like, as Ab was saying, maybe it might have been right before you joined the show, Frank, but this is niche thinking, niche observation from what I've gathered too.
Yeah.
Even the people who literally spent their lives doing it don't necessarily even question what they were doing or who they were doing it for or why.
I just want to draw parallels back to World War I and World War II. In World War I, the Germans, the Kaiser was the first cousin of the King of England.
Yeah.
And yet they were going to war. Sensibly, they would have just met in some parlor somewhere, in one of the royal palaces, and played cards to resolve the issue. But instead, they sent a whole lot of Caucasian men to their deaths, according to according to Dave J. That didn't happen at all. No one died. No one got hurt. But I don't think Dave J. is. You
don't have to defend
correct.
Dave J.
No, just don't think he's correct. I think that it is clear cut that people were effectively misled into attacking their own Christian brothers.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then when the USA went in, you had half of the USA population at the time of World War II, of World War I, was German descent.
Yeah.
It is just incredible that the mind control over in my lifetime and the 100 years before has been so powerful that The only people that seem to be getting hurt in this are Caucasian men. And now Caucasian women are getting destroyed in front of our eyes.
Hold
I just
time, 19
I just make the point that
seconds.
deception is the key weapon here.
Well, I just sent Ab a private chat there to a link of a guy that I came across the other day, a few days ago, on Reddit. The Words of a True Soldier is what it's called.
Okay.
And it's a man. If Ab, you can take a look at that. I think it's actually related to what we're talking about. And his words are puzzling to me, honestly. He talks about the men that he knew that died.
All right.
And they're heroes.
Thank you. We are grateful to you. Thank you.
Don't take me and don't say I'm a hero. I'm no hero. I was lucky. I'm here. All the heroes are dead. And I'll never forget them as long as I live. All I know is Normandy veterans love one another beyond the love of women. If you was in a hole in the ground with a boat, you got to know him. Marvellous men. My generation saved the world. And I'll never forget any of them.
All right. Okay.
My generation saved the world.
Save the world, yeah. It's and that's just the level of
They believe it, yeah.
They
Hey,
don't even know what they were fighting for or who or what or with. Sorry.
well, they were fighting. They were fighting their own brethren at the behest of two cousins.
yeah, let's John the Beggar, what do you think?
I think you're right at that they were fighting their brothers, and it's terrible. All the wars we've been in, we basically set up the boogeyman, and then we go knock them down. I mean, the City of London backed both sides in World War I and World War II. That's the way it's been. And that's the way it's going to continue to be. So anytime they say there's a booger man, you say, yeah, real. Because he's really not as real as you think he is. I mean, people do get killed in these wars and stuff. But these wars are caused on purpose.
Yeah.
Well, even more outrageous was the way that the German Kaiser sold the Germans out so woefully at the end of World War One. Unbelievable what he did.
Well, they had to have World War II come along, so his cousin Adolf Hitler would have someone to fight.
You think it's his cousin? It could be, for all I know.
Yeah. I think Miles Mathis has made a good case that Mussolini was a distant cousin of theirs too, and so was the King of Italy. So they were all relatives. Even Franklin Delano Roosevelt would be really distantly related to him.
No doubt. They're all descended from one king, aren't they? And
Acting true. It's a family. It's a family affair.
Family affair, yeah.
Definitely.
And so the power here is really for people to, I'm just going to keep pushing this Christian Barrow. Thou shalt not kill is really what we've been told over and over again. And every time we get told to go and kill, don't do it.
Don't do it. Yeah.
It's really where we're facing this again right now, according to Jay. He's predicting, trouble right here in River City. And, it's quite possible. And who are we going to be fighting? People that we should not be fighting.
On a continent we should not be fighting on at all. We really don't belong there.
Yeah.
And that gives me to another point. The Taliban, as I understand it, they're the Pushtun, Pushtun tribe mostly. And people have claimed that the Pushtuns are Jews, biblical Jews, who got pushed out by the Romans, and they kept moving and fighting, and then they ended up in Afghanistan. So how do you know we really don't have a Jewish rule over there right now, even though they've converted to Islam? And that these people, we may still be controlling it over there. So may Israel and England through the push.
And the other thing is they're all hiding behind labels anyway. They're saying they're Jewish or they're Muslim or they're this or they're that. But it's not what they call themselves. It's how they behave that counts.
Definitely. Actions speak much louder than words. And that goes to Bibi Netanyahu. Is he really Polish or is he Jewish? And I know there are even some people in Israel that have questioned his lineage.
I looked it up. He's born in Tel Aviv, it says here, and his dad went down from Poland down to the Palestine mandate.
But he like went to school here in America or something,
Yes,
right?
he was there. He came when he
Oh,
was
he's
young
getting
to
schooled
Boston.
how to be the prime minister of Israel.
Well,
Trained,
sure.
trained from birth, 100%.
I'm sure they train many people to do it, and then
Oh
just
yeah, it says it right there. Yeah, that he even went to high school here in Philadelphia in America.
and he went to George. What is it? George Washington.
State
George
University.
Mason University?
Yeah, what is it called? Georgetown.
Georgetown.
I think.
Oh, so the Jesuit College. He went to Georgetown.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
He's a Jesuit then, like Curtis Sliwa.
Exactly.
In New York.
Well, he's trained. They're all trained to be world leaders. That's where you go. You
And
got to
what
go
religion?
to.
What religion are they? They're a religion of their own that we don't know about.
Right. Or no religion.
True. They think they're God.
Well, they think they need to run the world, so someone has to do it. Power abhors the vacuum, so they fill it in. John, have you ever heard of this show 9/11 and Israel's Great Game that we were watching earlier?
No, I haven't heard of that. I do think I remember that group, that Canadian group you talked about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of their songs, Where is the Love? Didn't the Bee Gees record a song like that too? And I wonder if they just re-recorded their song.
Oh yeah, Where is this love?
Like the Where is the Love? That one?
Yep.
Yeah, Where is the Love?
Where is the
love? Something like that. Well, you're on the border, so you'd get some Canadian stuff for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I grew up watching CKLW Channel 9 in Windsor.
Oh, there you go. Good stuff.
So hockey night in Canada and everything else.
Yeah, you're an honorary Canadian. We accept you.
Well, some of my people came from there. That's where they first, on my father's side, first came to America. They came to the Americas. They came to Canada.
There you go. Well,
I'm curious, John the Beggar, with you mentioned it last week when we were on the eve it was of November 1st when the SNAP card / formerly EBT card thing was about to happen. How's things going with that situation from what you understand?
I understand they're going to give 65% now to many people. And I think I'm going to be in that group. But it's still not for certain what's going to happen. And everything's up in the air. I have gone to a half ration for my dinner. I usually would eat 12 ounces of bacon. Now I eat 6 on 2 different days.
You're going to lose weight.
So, yeah, I'll lose some weight. Well, I probably should.
Well, see, it's a godsend.
It might be, but it's going to get tight.
All right.
I know that.
Send donations.
So you'll have to forgive me because I haven't quite caught up with what the issue is there.
Well, the government shutdown has stopped all government benefits, which includes SNAP, which is formerly known as EBT.
Yeah, you got to
basically food stamps.
The federal government, the corporation of the United States, has suspended operations, and they're
Except
not
for the
paying.
tax department, of course.
Well, the IRS is not part of the department or the United States court. It's a separate corporation.
It's a trust, actually, out of Puerto Rico.
It's a trust. There you go. So
out of Puerto Rico.
So the federal government controls Homeland Security, which is massive, as you know, created by 9/11. So that has customs, TSA, air traffic controllers.
Right, yeah, that's the FAA. They're talking about shutting down airlines on Friday or shutting down
and the
traffic.
food stamps were given to. The food subsidies come from the Department of Agriculture, which is a federal department. I believe it's the Ag Department. They had to give it.
Yeah, that's right.
So so they're shut down, and they're the ones that administer the federal payout of electronic food stamps, or now it's called EBT. So There
Okay,
you go.
thank you.
So that's what it's about. So it's still shut down, and I guess it's just a way of seeing how long people can put up with that lack of service, see if they miss it, that kind of thing. I guess
I think the thing that will push us to the edge is going to be the air traffic. They're shutting down certain airlines, or not airlines, but certain air corridors and other so on and so forth, as a result of the FAA employees, federal air traffic controllers, aren't getting a paycheck, they say, and they'll be the second month in a row.
Yeah,
this month, and they're going to have to start shutting down certain airlines or certain air. I keep saying airlines.
Air routes.
Air routes. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's what they said. So certain highways in the sky won't be monitored, so they have to shut them down. Yeah, I gotcha.
And they're prioritizing international travel, from what I saw about that too.
There you go.
I think that's ultimately what will push it, though. Push it to some form of resolution.
Yeah. Well, they don't want people flying anyway, so this will work well. It'll work well.
So it's effectively another shutdown, similar to.
They have them every couple of years. This is just the
COVID.
longest it's gone on for. This is the longest one so far.
Yeah, supposedly the longest ever so far.
Yeah.
It's even affecting other things, like the FCC, the Federal Communication Commission. They do radio frequency licensing and so forth. That's affecting certain industries. It's interesting. I mean, it seems to be real. Like, you can go to the FCC, you can go to the FAA.gov, and their websites say that they're shut down with limited functionality.
So why are you confident that it's going to end? Why do you think? What's I guess in my opinion, they could just as well just keep it going forever, and just bring the whole show down if they want to. There's nothing stopping them.
Sure.
Well, I think they're scared of the people still because there's still enough weapons out there.
I don't think so. I don't think they could care less. They know no one's going to use them. Well, here it says here that they're going to reduce temporary reduction in flights, 10% reduction at 40 high traffic airports across the country. So there you go.
Well, I guess I think that it's not clear cut that this is going to end. This may be it's the soft sell. It's all been very underplayed so far.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is just one department, but yeah. Well, it's I guess just an exercise in austerity, which is coming everywhere.
Definitely. And why they need to do austerity to me is beyond reason, because I think, like you were saying earlier, all the debt is owed to ourselves. Really,
100%.
That's what that's what that video said. Did you see that, Frank?
Sure did. Yeah,
that was a good one. I listened to the whole thing. I didn't take notes, but I got the gist.
But most people, we've actually spoken about this before, I'm sure, Tim. Most people are of the view that China is owed all this debt, like from the US, but it's like less than 2% or something, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a low number, yeah. But they need to buy American dollars so they can buy American stuff. So there's that.
Well, is this the same? Is this the same video that said 95% of international trade is still conducted in US dollars?
Maybe, yeah.
It probably is. It's easier.
The traders on the floor, when they hear this story about the end of the US dollar, they scoff openly because of the just sheer volume of trade, which is still right to this. This is like brand new. This video, so it just said, well over 95% of all trade is carried out in US dollars. Still.
Yeah. Yeah, it says here the FCC site has been suspended mostly as of October 1st. So we're now into month 2 for those that care. But it doesn't even make the Drudge Report. Drudge Report doesn't seem to care about it.
Doesn't that seem weird to you that they're not? Because the last time this thing on, it was a hoo-ha.
Yeah.
It seems interesting to me that they're they're downplaying it and being very casual about it.
Yeah.
Well, who is the Drudge Report, actually? I remember when
It's
he
Matt
first
Drudge.
started coming out. Yeah, Matt Drudge. He showed up on that intelligence show Crossfire with Pat Buchanan and Tom Braden. Tom Braden, an ex-CIA agent. And he got on there, and Braden seemed to push him a lot, even though he did a lot of things more conservative. He showed up with a reporter with a hat on and a little card that said press on the side of his head. So what really is the Drudge Report? Who's behind it?
Well, Matt Drudge, right?
Matt Drudge, but yeah, who's behind him? I don't know.
Yeah,
all it is just a bunch of links to websites. It's
pretty much so.
It's the most simple website you could ever create. There's no content. I think he used to have his own content where he typed a few words, but I haven't seen that lately. So I think he's long. I think he's gone.
His hat. I think he lost his hat and the little card that said press.
Yeah. CNN has a few things on the whole thing, but who knows? All right, John. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, thanks for having me.
And good luck on your search for bacon, John.
Thank you.
Canadian bacon.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully you can get back up to 12 ounces a day, my brother.
I hope I can too, guys. Talk to you later.
Take care. Bye-bye. There
Hold
goes John the Beggar.
1 minute, 33 seconds.
Here's another caller in. Or where are you calling from? What's your name?
Brian in Washington.
Biochar Brian, hello.
Hey, we also battled the communitarian nightmare.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, indeed. I heard earlier you wondering why you have little or no listeners. I'm going to try and help you. You also said, hey, if there's somebody that
we got you. We got you. And Jenna.
That's right. So you said earlier, if there was anybody that wanted to talk about 9/11, I would encourage your listeners, of course you won't go there, but RyanDawson.org, 4-hour bunch of blather on 9/11. The way we do it here, we live in, Northwest United States. We encourage dialogue. So, yeah, it's very possible to go through the whole 4 hours and you could say, oh, I disagree with this. Me and Ryan got a difference. But, of course, you won't do that because the 12-year-olds over there in Palestine are having birthday parties on the beach because fake nukes says none of this is real because he doesn't have the proper photographic footage. Moving on, if like I'm trying to say, the SALT guy that is currently your co-host.
Don't forget CSL.
And CSL, yes. This has to do with the religiosity of the anti-communitarian battle that Jenna and I are focused on and battle every day. So my encouragement is overlords of chaos.com, and there you will find a pretty spectacular big write-up on communitarianism, the new world system of management and control.
Will we get more listeners if we go there?
No, we aren't here for the clicks and the listeners. We need to save what's left of the planet. And moving
that include
on,
Australia? Is this at overlordsofchaos.com? Is that what you said? Come on, Brian, get your links.
Overlordsofchaos.com.
That's where I am.
Type in communitarianism, the new world system.
Where do I type that in? I'm at overlordsofchaos.com.
Okay. The new world system of management and control. He's got a huge page on communitarianism, but like the SALT guy, he's saying, oh, let's incorporate a bunch of religion into this and see if we can hit it out of the park, when what ends up happening is battling over, is it the Jews or the Roman Catholics? A complete frigging waste of time. The information is out there, and I'm just simply encouraging those people that are still listening. I see PTL said, I'm out of here.
Bye.
JLB was here for a short time. He's got better things to do, but there are some.
How do you know?
There are some people still listening.
Thank you.
And just one more final. I'm really just talking to those people that want to get to the bottom of this. Cindy Niles, who you interviewed, has a Facebook page, and 16 hours ago, it begins with first reading 2020, Our Common Destiny. Author Nikki F. Rapana, editor Nordica F. Friedrich, who you had on. And so Cindy's going to go through this almost 20-year-old book, but what is hitting it out of the park, Abbo, is,
Abbo? Don't be disrespectful.
Isn't that your name, Fako Tim, Abbo?
You just added a new name, Ryo.
Okay, you can call me Ryo. That's fine.
Hey, I'm also looking at that website that you shared with us there, and I'm curious. I mean, so I've got to Overlords of Chaos, just like Ab has made it to. Where were you saying we should go from there? There was something about New World Order you were saying. Where is it on there? I'm curious.
Communitarianism. Oh, I spelled it right the first time. I typed in communitarianism. Here it is here. Okay, I found a link to it. Here we go. I got it here. I'm going to put a link to it, John, or
Brian. Brian, in fairness, you're saying I'm bringing religion. I'm simply saying, don't kill.
All right, Brian, can you hear us? Because we're going to have to go anyway. It's an hour.
No, I can hear you fine. Just to have, a little bit of a link to Cindy Niles at Facebook is reading Nikki Rapana's book.
We heard you.
Almost 20.
We heard you.
Okay.
We got you. I'll look up
right.
Cindy Niles again. Get her back.
I guess
get her back on the show. I'd rather talk. She's a better
Brian,
representative of this topic.
The way through these things is by using the knowledge of the legal system that exists, like the people that resist the fines, because as you know, the communitarianism is based entirely on fining people all the time and getting compliance that way. These fines in Australia are not legal because you cannot get fined without a trial. And the way to resist the communitarianism and the constant fining and the nonsense that goes on there is by understanding what your actual rights are under the Australian Constitution. It's probably similar in the USA. Now, I haven't seen a lot of Cindy's stuff, but I have personally made use of the work that's done by guys like Know Your Rights, who explain to you how to resist. They don't call it communitarianism, but basically they just call it control by placing fines on you for doing, what they, you cannot get fined here without a trial. You can't be penalized. And the communitarianism system is they create a law and you obey because they fine you and you don't know how to challenge the fine. Do you agree with me or disagree with me on that point?
I'm going to say everywhere I turn is more communitarianism. So the UK wants to outlaw tobacco. Everywhere, motorcycle helmets, the list is endless. Cindy Niles is simply finally pinning the tail on the donkey. That's my opinion.
Yes, but is she telling me how to actually take action to overcome it?
Well, no, because
okay. So I'm going to reiterate what I said before. It's all very well you having a poke at us about my religious views or whatever, but it is a fact that our legal system is based on the claim that in the absence of Jesus Christ, these governments have the right to rule over us. They do not. And there is a legal system and a constitutional framework which you need to be aware of to overcome people creating all these crazy and ridiculous fines, which communitarianism, I think the problem is giving them names. What they are doing is just creating bylaws and regulations and then imposing a fine upon you, which you are not able to mitigate unless you understand that no one can be fined without a trial.
It's a form of manufacturing consent, right? Because everything is consent based.
Exactly. And when you, in my opinion, Brian, when you say communitarianism or, have all these labels, it's nowhere near as effective as saying these guys can't do this. They cannot just create a law and then fine you for it without a trial. Use your system.
Okay, well, you can tell it to all the people in the UK being drug into prison
there are many people that have been told in the UK. There are many people that are aware of this and are successfully resisting the fines and so on. Many people.
Yeah, why they're sitting in prison for hate law speech.
Well, again, I'm not even sure that that's true, but it may be true. But the people that are not in prison for hate law speech are the people that have established a way to deal with what you call communitarianism, what I call just creating up laws or mandates or whatever that can only proceed by what QV6 Lady called agreement.
Okay, well, Courtney Turner calls it Game B, and you want to call it whatever you want. Johnny Vedmore is dead certain that since some politician in England called it the third way, well, that's got to be it. You're welcome to chase after the tales of false trails. I prefer to say, no, it's very clearly, it has a name. The entire European Union is run by communitarian law, a key communautaire, and yeah, please just game be it all you want, Courtney. We aren't listening. Cindy Niles is laying it out, and it's 20 years old. So,
thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
I'll have a good night. We're gonna wrap.
Thanks for the call in, Brian.
Okay, had to let him
Great
go.
Thank you, Brian.
Getting a little repetitive there.
But it was a great. It is a great topic. You
What
can't
is?
argue that.
What's a great
the things
topic?
that what Brian is talking about. These
Yeah.
bringing in of this constant, just nothing. They're basically just making stuff up and then saying, "Oh, we've got the right to do it." They have not.
Yeah. Well, if they go unopposed, they'll keep going. All right. Well, interesting show. A little different tonight. I hope everyone liked it. Can you share it with somebody else, please? So we have one extra visitor here. We like Brian. We like Jay. We like all the regulars, but we wouldn't mind someone else just for fun. On the weekend, we have other people at fakeologist.com/Discord. Sorry, shortfake.com/Discord. Hello. I should know a little better as to what I'm talking about. So thank you for all you guys joining in.
Kate Emma has just said, "I don't believe there's anyone in jail here in the UK for saying stuff online. It's all scare tactics."
I think so. Skate and Destroy says, thanks, Ab and chat peeps. And he says, good night, Brian. Good call. Sounds a lot like the last call, but that's all right. It's amazing how certain people just love certain topics. I like a little more variety, but man, it's amazing the concentration of certain people to just stick to one topic. That's really good. I'm impressed by that. What do you guys think? Is it an obsession with some people to stick to one topic? And
well, I think if you want to get something done, you have to be focused.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like anything's getting done anyway. But just keep talking about it.
Yeah, it seems like the effort is intended to, if only enough people were exposed to it, then we could do something with it.
Yeah. I don't have any illusions about that myself. I just talk about the media and the fakery, and that's good enough for me. We all have a good time. Don't get too serious.
Okay.
And we share links. Share links, please. I'm going to try and watch this 9/11 video. I'm suspecting that it's not going to get me anywhere, but I'll play it in the background and see what this guy's got to say. We had a few people join tonight. We're up to about 60 people tonight, so that's good. This is a call-in show, so if you guys want to call in next week, you can. Or join the studio, you can. And Frank, thanks for joining. Have a good night.
And thanks for the invite, Tim. It was
all the time. You're
appreciated.
always welcome. And of course, Curvy Sexpert Lady. Nice to have you on here, our Reddit moderator over at Reddit. Not too much action there, but thank you for coming by. Thanks for supporting. And by the way, I have a new P.O. box. Yes, I got a new P.O. box, fakeologist.com/donate. And this time it's actually with the post office. But they're supposed to be half on strike, but they're not really on strike, so who knows?
They got a post office in Canada, really? No, just kidding.
We do. Well, they were on strike, but now they're not on strike. But they still don't have a contract, but they're just pretending they have one or don't have one. Doesn't matter. So it's still working. I don't get any mail anyway. But somebody said, oh, do you have a P.O. box? I want to send you something. So now it's open again. So go to fakeologist.com/donate, and you'll find the P.O. box on there as soon as I put it on. But check it out. And we do take cash or checks made out to cash. So that's about it. So thanks a lot, everybody. And we'll see you on the Discord on the weekend. It's getting cold here in Canada, by the way. It's snow tire time.
It's the third warmest year ever in the world, you know, Tim. Just telling you.
I'm happy about that. That's good news. That's absolute good news.
If only it were true.
I wish it was true. But anyway, thanks, guys. Have a great night, and we'll see you next time.
See you.
Over and out.